How far?
Good evening, everyone. So I will be starting now. Let's quickly get into it because this session is going to be very long. So, like I always say, the first thing you should always do at the beginning of the week is always first of all check your fundamentals to see the pairs that you are trading. So you know the days and time to be careful. For example, now if you are trading XXS USD pairs, you know that okay, these are the days that I need to be careful when they have high impact news. If it is AUD related, you will know in this kind of day now you are not expected to leave your trade overnight because it might go against you before you wake up. And there's not much news this week unlike last week. So always do that and mark out those days and times for the red folder news. So you'll be very, very, very safe. So let's quickly get into it. And like I always say, on Sundays, we majorly look at swing opportunities. So looking at this now, you can clearly see that on the 4 hours, and I usually stick to the 4 hours, we basically just swept liquidity. We did not break it, even though it also did not shift. You see that this was the last area that created that break. It has still not shifted. This is the other block. You can clearly see that it has not been shifted and it is still holding, even though it has not broken. So it looks most likely during this moment that we might see a new break of structure because the level looks very protected. You can clearly see that it has failed to break that level. So what I expect in this new week is probably price comes back to test this area. It can come back for this, and you can use this as your inducement. It can come back for that, and you can also decide to use this. The market is very dynamic, very, very dynamic. But looking at this, it looks most likely to come back for this level. But let's see what the market decides to do. Let's see what the market decides to do. But then this is what I expect entering into the new week. I expect price to come back into those levels, probably before breaking the structure, but it looks most likely to break the structure. So any buy that you are buying, this should be your target. And the market might just open and go straight for it. But then once it goes straight for it, it makes it easier for you to pick these areas for the possible continuation of the uptrend, but it's clearly on an uptrend, so you shouldn't be looking for sell. So I won't be having any setup on this yet. I just need to see what the market is going to do because this level has spent so much time in that place. So then the next one is AUD USD. So looking at this now, just with your eye test, just with your eyes, you can clearly see something here. So this was the break. It was the last break of structure and it created that eye. Then it shifted here and broke structure here. So technically, we're on a downtrend on this until this new area is broken. You can clearly see it broke structure and then it shifted there. So this has to be broken for an uptrend to be confirmed. But what looks most likely at the moment is that price might get here. Price might get to this level. Price might get to this level and get rejected. Because the market looks like the trend. This is forming in the like for the traditional way, this is an head and shoulder pattern. This is the head, this is shoulder, shoulder. But in the market structure, this is a clear downtrend. So everything aligns perfectly. So if at all I want to be looking for a sell, I'll be looking for it around this area, and I'll most likely be using this as my inducement. Considering the imbalance that was created, the market will most likely come back to fill it. You can clearly see the market always comes to fill imbalances. So I expect the price to get here first. I expect the market to come back to fill that imbalance and probably get back here. But this is what I'll be expecting. Like I said, the market is dynamic, but then this looks most likely to happen during the week. Like I said, this is just an outlook of what I expect during the week on this pair based on the structure. I expect it to sell from here. I expect it to sell from here because this has already been mitigated. This has been mitigated, and it can also still come back for that too. But then this looks most likely to hold, and this is the only unmitigated order block. So if at all you are looking for possible sales, those are the three areas to be looking out for a possible rejection. Then you can go to your lower time frame and probably join the movement. So let's quickly go straight to the next pair, which is card chef. So like I always do, I always look at the current market movement. It shifted here. Did it break structure? Yes, it did. And which area led to the break of structure? This area, and then it shifted here. but it hasn't broken structure properly. This is just a liquidity sweep. So looking at this now, one will be expecting price to still come down. So I expect price to still drop down to continue this downtrend that I just started, considering the fact that this level there's also been a close, a full body close of this level. So whenever you have something like this, you map out your possible reversal areas where price might start rejecting food. And that is what it did here. This is a valid open. And you can clearly see that it picked this other block and came back for this target. If I was trading this normally, I might have had something like this. Or probably gone down to the lower time frame. And your targets will be here. This is a very straightforward one to for an end of the week kind of trade normally, do you get? Because if it was not an end of the week trade, you might probably draw it longer. But looking at this, this is what I would have looked at for this. But then I still expect it to still go down there because it's clearly changing trend. It's clearly changing trend. So then the next one is the KGPY. So up, you can clearly see the break of structures. I'm trying not to spend much time, but I actually need to see. I've had a very stressful day. So which area led to this last break of structure? This is it. So you can see it shifted here, then it broke structure here, and it broke structure again here, and created this slow. So this is a field swing because it has not broken it yet. And it obviously got to this level which it tapped into, which is obviously tapped into. I probably could have something like this too. This is a sweet 3 hour trade. Back to this target. It's very straightforward. So, but then entering into the new week, I want to see what the markets will do around this area. If there's going to be a shift or it will continue breaking structure. And if there's a break of structure here, then this is where I'll be looking at to probably enter from or use the breaker block. So let's see what that decides to do during the new week. But it's clearly on a downtrend, a very, very clear downtrend. Then if at all you are looking for possible buys, this is where you'll be looking at it from. But as long as price has not gotten there, you don't really have business looking for buys yet, except there's a shift and a possible break of structure around this area. But apart from that, this is where one has to be very careful if at all you want to pick a buy on this pair. It looks most valid considering the fact that I started the bullish movement, so it is an origin. So barring all unforeseen circumstances, this area should hold for a possible buy. Remember, this is a 4 hour time frame, so it's very, 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 very valid. But let's see what happens when the market opens. And the next one is Euro AUD. Like I said, always train your eyes so you know what you are looking for. And I'm someone that always trades with the trend. So we shifted here, obviously. And we look structure. We look at another one. I created this last time. I'm only concerned with the recent market. If you zoom and you see a possible area where there might be a sale, you mark it out. You check to see if it is a valid OB or not. Let's see. If price has gotten there. So if at all I'm looking for a sell now, I'll be backing towards this area for a possible long sell. But at the moment, the market is tilting towards an option. You can clearly see it once you zoom out. So it looks like a possible buy to sell. And where is the nearest point of interest? It is here. This area here. But then on the one hour, I'll be looking to see what the market decides to do around here. Because this is also a very good area, which explains this rejection. But let's see what happens once the market opens. And like I said, you need to be careful because you need to be careful of the fundamentals to always put that into consideration. But this is what I'll be expecting. Clearly on an uptrend, I expect it to still buy, probably back to this area before any major sell should happen. But let's see what the market decides to do when the market opens. Then the next one is Euro card. So during the week on breakfast session, that's when we're going through into intraday trades and scalp trades. But Sundays are majorly on higher time frame, just knowing the direction of the market. So if you zoom out, you can clearly see this is an uptrend market, clear uptrend, which means you should be looking for buys. You can clearly see it. This is a clear uptrend. This is a clear uptrend. Possible buy area to continue the trend. If at all, I'll be buying from here. And this will be my target. This for our, and you can even use this as your inducement for your entry. But let's see what the market decides to do. But clearly, it is on an uptrend, and there's plenty points of interest. Plenty points of interest. So it all depends on the one that the market decides to use. This is clearly unmitigated. Clearly unmitigated. And it can also decide to come for it. But this, I'll be banking more on this than any other one. But this looks mitigated already. It has even picked 50% of the others. So I don't expect this area to hold at all. We expect it to hold and to most likely break this. If this area is broken, to most likely break this. This has been mitigated. I don't think there'll be any others here to hold it for it to be strong enough to push it upward. But then if this area does not hold, then it should most likely come back here eventually. It should most likely come back towards this area. Well, let's see what the market decides to do, because the market is very dynamic. So let's go straight to Euro. This one is still moving. This was a trade I had last week. I even rejoined here for another 4-hour trade, but then market decided to wind. But then this 5-hour is already on how many hour? On 4.5. But let's see what the market decides to do. And why did I pick that area? Because the market was clearly on an uptrend. So if at all the market is coming back, this is an area that should most likely hold. Even this is also unmitigated. So whenever there's so many points of interest like this, you have to be very careful. You can see the market came back for this one here. It tapped nicely into it, and that is what I'm still riding currently. I've taken partials though, and I've set my break even. But let's see what happens. Let's see what happens during the meeting. Still looks very, very bullish and should most likely get here. But then this is my first target here, which it has already gotten to. So that was when I took the initial partials. This was the first target. I can see that I got there nicely before rejecting. So if I was targeting that area, that's a 4.5 RR. On one of my other accounts, I closed completely before the market closed. So I'm good on that. But then looking at this, these are the points of interest. If peradventure it breaks this area, I expect one of these 2 points of interest to hold. But I'll observe first and see the reaction before putting an order. But then this is the overall target where price needs to get back to continue this bullish momentum that it has started. Then the next one is Euro USD. This one, water through my eyes. But we move. But I didn't trade on Friday, so I obviously didn't catch this. I would have caught it if I was trading on Friday, because I would have joined around here. After this break, I would have joined the movement. But then we move. See, he sniped my SL and decided to change direction. Something that I was supposed to hold nicely. Remove, and it got to the target, obviously. It was always going to get there. Then that is the market for you. Going into the new week, still looks most likely clearly bullish. So it might still come back here. It might come back to fill the imbalance. But looking at the fact that it didn't come back for this, it might just continue also. But let's see what the market decides to do. Then we follow what the market says. You react, you don't predict. That is my motto. And the next one is GBP JPY. This one is still on the 6-hour trade. I expect it to get here. I don't know why it has failed to get there, but then I already took partials here. Took partials as this 4-hour on this. So remember what I always tell you people about targets. I think I closed this outrightly. I closed most of my trades on Thursday. I didn't trade on Friday. So I believe I've closed this. I closed it on Friday morning. So I closed it at 4-hour. Just remembered. So like I always say, importance of having targets. You can clearly see it got here and it rejected. So imagine getting to 4-hour and it's coming back to 1 point something. Crazy, right? But that's the market for you. So you can have your objective and subjective targets. Objective targets are where the markets are normally supposed to get to and should have reactions. Then subjectives are the ones that you yourself, subjective targets are the one that you yourself, you want the market to get to. Do you get? Like me now, normally, sorry, normally this is a subjective target. This is an objective target for RR. Do you get? So let's see what the market decides to do. It came for this other block nicely, clearly following the uptrend too. You can clearly see that was why it came back for that area to continue the trend. This was the shift here. So structure always works, always follow the trend. And like I always tell my people too, you only need to win 3 out of 10 trades to be profitable, which means you can still lose 7 trades and still be profitable. So losses are inevitable. You just need to make sure that losses do not deter you from taking all your trades. You can still win 3 out of 10 and still be profitable. You just need that and you are good. So this is what I still expect it to get into. But let's see how the market opens on around 10. Let's see how the market opens. Then the next one is this GBP USD. Let me see. Downtrend. Has it even shifted? I don't think it has. It hasn't. Still looks most likely to sell. All right. Swept this liquidity and bounced. So this would have stop-wanted a lot of people. Swept that liquidity and bounced. But I expect it to get here first before saying whatever it wants to do. It needs to get here. So it needs to either break here to show that we are looking bullish, or it breaks it down and probably comes back for this. This looks most likely to. But then I expect it to still go up. But it looks like the trend is about to like change fully. But for that to be confirmed, I need to see a full body break above this area. So that is what I'll be looking out for entering into the new week. Either a full body break above this area. If you're trying to swing, you need a full body break first, and the price will now come back for that. But then currently, I will not be looking for anything at the moment, except you are looking for trades on the lower time frame. But on this higher time frame, this is the most valid point of interest, pending the time that the market breaks this. If it breaks this, it should most likely continue bullish. But then this is very, very valid. I'm looking at this, but I don't trust it. I don't really trust it completely. This looks most likely to happen. But let's see what the market decides to do in the new week. Then the next one, I'm trying to be as fast as possible because I have other things to do by 7. So we can clearly see this one played out nicely. Very, very nicely. This was the 4-hour setup. See the thing about targets. Got there and started rejecting. So if you're targeting there, you can really see what I was saying about objective and subjective targets. Other traders will have been targeting there and they will have hit break even or stop loss. This was the objective target, the nearest external range liquidity, and that was where he started rejecting from. Plus, because of this, someone will have thought that, okay, to clear all this liquidity before dropping, and look at what the market did, just use this normal objective target and he bounced. So entering into this week now, I'll just be observing for now to see if it's going to form a proper structure, because I don't like this. This is not the kind of structure I trade, because I don't like what I'm seeing for now. And this is a result of Powell and Trump on Friday. Let's see. This is a very, very strong bearish order block. Very, very strong. So I still expect price to come back for that area too. Anytime price comes for that, the sell will be more massive than this. But let's see what happens. But overall now, I'm not really seeing anything nice for now. This is where I'll be looking at for a sell. And if at all, I'm trying to look for, I'm not even going to be looking for buys. I'm tilted more towards sell in this area. This is what I'm waiting for. And anybody selling here will be an early seller. You might most likely get stopped out. But this looks most valid for a possible sell. And once you pick yourself from there, this will be like the final target. This low will be the final target. So price can decide to just start dropping like that. And once it decides to do that, you can find entries on your lower time frame and join it. But overall, this is where I'll be looking to sell from. I don't trade every G, so pardon me if I don't show you that. But then that's what I only trade structure and liquidity majorly with my other block and breaker block and what have you. So same thing applied here too. This was caught on the 1 hour though. So let me show you. This was the other block. I forgot to show you. Same thing applied to it too. The buy was from this other block. You can clearly see there was inducement for it. So let me quickly do UJ and gold, and I'll see you tomorrow. So you can clearly see it came from this other block. See the inducement. Very nice set. Very, very nice trade. This one was very sweet. 3 hour trade. I enjoyed this trade so much. It was very, very nice. So you can clearly see it was in line with the structure. There was a shift, there was a break, and it came back for it. They went for the target. It even came for the objective targets before dropping. So you can clearly see. We're heading into the new week now. As long as this overall high is not taken out, we might still eventually get back to them. But looking at this now, that this has happened, it has tapped into this also. You can clearly see that it has tapped into this area. So there's every possibility that it might continue buying from there to fill this imbalance, at least 50% of it. So from this buy, I expect it to fill at least 50%, which means it should at least get to this point. Should at least get to this point before I start looking for anything at all. That's to pick at least 50% of that area because of this movement that has started. And if it decides to go down, we look for possible entries and you join, probably sell back to this area. But then the market is very, why is this thing not clicking? But then the market is very, very subjective. Very, very subjective. You can clearly see that it's bullish. When you zoom out, you see it clearly bullish. It is not completely bearish yet. You just need to map out all your possible points of interest. So this picked it nicely and it got to the target. So now it's coming back for this. That's picked from here. So I expect it to get here and at least feel 50% of this because of the bullish momentum. So let's see what that decides to do in the new week. In the last one is gold. Gold missed my entry. We move and went straight to the target. Gold missed my entry and went straight to the target. And that is that. So now I just want to see what the markets will decide to do. When you zoom out, you can see that the highs are failed to break, which means that the market is giving downtrend vibe, clear downtrend vibe. You can clearly see that the highs are failed to be broken, so clearly going down. You can clearly see it going down. So what I expect the market to do in this new week is that it might just come to this area. It might just come for this area and start selling. And once it starts selling, it will most likely come back to this area on the higher time frame. But like I said, I need to see what the market will do overnight / London and New York session tomorrow before I now have my own bias for the week. But at the moment, based on what I'm seeing on the charts, gold looks bearish on the higher time frame, still looks bearish. That's failed to break 3 different highs now. That's failed to break those highs. This should be 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Because if this fails, that will be the 4th high, then you should expect price to come back here. Most definitely. Most definitely. But let's see how that goes. Our breakfast session will continue tomorrow by 9 a.m. Due to the low turnout for this session, I will not be dropping the recorded version. I'll keep it for myself. So enjoy the rest of your day. Breakfast session resumes tomorrow by 9 a.m. I'll be going into the lower time frame, the 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 1 hour, and we'll be having intraday setups and trade ideas. So that'll be all for now. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And thanks to those that joined the session. I feel like most people have gone for party or whatever, but everybody will be fine last. Like I said, always try to show up every day. The more you show up every day, the more you get better at trading. And that's just the bitter truth. If you're not consistent, you will never be profitable. You will never be profitable. Expect a lot of gems from me this week. So that'll be all for now. That'll be all for now. That will be all for now. Enjoy the rest of your day.